Welcome to Stirred Up. I'm Heather.
I'm Jessica.
Welcome to our podcast where business meets happy hour and we're serving up brand insights with bar rail banter.
We're two Midwest corporate pros who love dissecting popular brands, not just for their marketing genius or business moves,
but for their corporate integrity. Together, Jess and I dig into sustainability, leadership, and how brands are actually impacting the world we live in.
All while keeping it fun, relatable, and let's be honest, fueled by some Fireball too.
Woohoo! So whether we're clinking glasses to the brands who are doing it right,
Or closing the book on the one that missed the mark,
we'll bring you the real, unfiltered takes on what the brands are doing that are shaping our world and the lives we live daily.
So grab a drink, settle in, and let's get this shit stirred up.
Welcome.
Alexa, stop.
Alexa, stop. Welcome.
She's not listening to me.
She's a fucking dummy.
Okay, say it.
Say what, Alexa, stop.
Welcome.
Oh, welcome to Start Up. It's Saturday morning.
This is the early recording.
This is what the energy you get in the morning when I have not drank for days and got up for this morning on no meds and Jess is hungover to fuck.
Yeah, but I'm okay.
She's all right.
Are you a morning person?
No. Yes. Hold on. Before we start, I don't want to answer any questions because Jessica had a birthday.
I did.
She even went to a glow club.
I did.
But before we talk about the birthday experience, which is very important to me, happy birthday, my love.
Thank you.
How old did you turn? 29 and a quarter?
Yeah, 36.
Whee! Mm-hmm. Okay, I have presents for you.
Aw.
Okay, the first one's for us because it's our show.
Yeah.
The second two are exclusively for you.
Okay.
Okay, so. First, sorry about the card. That's all I had.
It was at a graduation. Last night at the graduation party, I didn't have a
I've
card,
been to
so I
so
just put
many
it on the
graduations.
envelope.
I've missed so many, and I've been to so many. I can't.
Congrats, grad. Thank you.
Okay, this is for the set for us, as I showed you, so not a surprise. So shout out to M20 Design. Shout out to Papa Smitty. If you are in the business, folks, of truly adorable, like if you want a beautiful baby sign name made, if you want like your custom creation to come to life, Papa made us this in our brand colors, and he also upscaled. See the gold? Like the details are incredible.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It says, got you some jumbo cables since you like to start shit. So we're going to replace that with the Muff Divers Club, and that's going to go back in my bathroom.
Very good.
Okay, so the second one, you were looking.
Oh, I didn't know I couldn't.
This is also from the Goodwill. And washed.
And very good.
Pressed. And I loved it.
And it's so gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous. It looks just like you, I feel.
It is, yes. I love it.
You can wear it with any of the pants. Okay. This also is from Just Be Careful. And then the last one is very exciting.
Okay, just be careful, she says. Is it an egg for my chicken coop?
Yeah.
It looks like an egg for my chicken coop.
It is.
It really is. With a stamp. Robinson's fresh eggs.
You got to get a new stamp. You have to get. I read on the internet. All you have to do is get another black stamp pad and just so it's good forever.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to put the lid on. That's why. Put the lid on. Hit my tooth.
Hold on.
Hey.
Can you hold the fragile stuff? I can't.
And I know it's tacky to tell people how much you paid, but in true Heather fashion, the one shirt costs $4, and I'm pretty sure that was $40.
How does it go on?
You just click it.
Click. Oh yeah, very good.
So Peyton can stamp it in the stamp pad and then
very cool.
put them on the eggs.
Thank
and give them to
you. Mimi. Yes.
So happy birthday.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
Oh, I tried.
You did great.
A little bit of everything.
I graduated. I did graduate. I graduated from the club. I'm not going back to a club.
What club?
Any club. I'm done clubbing.
What do you mean? Oh, like...
Yeah, I did graduate.
Like dancing clubs.
Yep.
Not like book club or mom's club.
Yeah, I need to graduate to a mom club or a book club and move on from my night clubbing.
Why?
We had a really wonderful time in Detroit.
Did your legs hurt from dancing? That happens
No,
to me.
I fell down.
Yep. Yep.
I should show you my arm, Heather. It's so bruised, and my ankle is so swollen still, like a week later.
That's what happens to me. I can't.
I fell down.
I fall down sober. So it's like I put a couple drinks in me and I can't even. I just, I will go to the club. Just take me in a wheelchair. Did you close the club down?
No, God, no. When we got there, it was like 9:30. It was like a basement. You had to know that it was there kind of thing. And I had made some friends who we shared a birthday buddy. Like, she was having her birthday. I said she was 10 years younger than me, but I was doing the math when I was telling the story last night, and I think she said she was 22, so she's more than 10 years younger than me.
And did you find a friend and talk her ear off the whole time?
I think she was getting rid of me when she told me that this is the club that they were going to. We didn't talk long.
Rewind. What?
I think I was just like an old white lady, and she was like a young, cute black girl who had no interest in being. And I had like a jean jacket and a day dress.
I think she probably thought you're part of the LDS community.
I don't know. Yeah. So we parted ways, and I was like, yeah, I'll meet you at the club. So I was looking for her. Anyways, at 9:30 when we got there was like 10 people there. When we left at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, it was packed. Nobody my age, it turns out. Also, there was no other white people at all. I don't know what.
Were you dancing or were you just getting it?
No, I was dancing. And they had like a little ledge. So like the perimeter of the building had like benches that you could sit at and then a table. But it was like raised so that on the other side of the table, you could stand at the table. I forgot about the step when I was dancing, and I tripped, and I like totally landed on people who were sitting.
You fell on people.
Kind of next to them. They were not impressed. Yep, that was the end of my clubbing days right there.
Did you have a long skirt on? Mm-hmm. Like a prairie skirt?
Yeah.
Jessica.
I don't know. It was from the Cap.
You wouldn't even let Tara wear cap sleeves.
It was cute.
The anonymous friend got chastised for wearing cap sleeves.
It didn't have cap sleeves. It was like it was very cute, but not for a nightclub.
No, ma'am. Did you have any songs that you could just jam out to though?
All of them. I knew every single word. I found my people. I knew all of them.
I knew all of them.
Drake, Lil Wayne.
Where was Maddie doing? Where was Maddie?
He was happy and dancing. Maybe he wasn't dancing. Maybe he was just like. I don't know.
Did he have his work boots on? Or
yeah. No, maybe tennis shoes. I don't know what he was wearing.
What club were you at? Shout him out. Do you remember?
No, I don't have a clue. And when we looked in the morning.
Hey, if we have any listeners in Detroit, if you saw some crazy white lady in a prairie dress fucking singing every word to Lil Wayne with her husband and his Red Wings, tell us where you're at.
However they do
How drunk are you on the scale of drunk? Do you black out?
No.
You don't
7.5, I'd say. Like
That's it?
Yeah. Like
7.5. Okay, on the fucking scale of what? Like, give me, I know, but like, give me some markers. Like, did you pee your pants? Did you tell somebody to fuck off? Like, you fell down? So that's a marker.
I fell down.
Because for some people, that'd be a 14. You know what I mean?
We couldn't figure out how to use the electric bikes to get back, and I didn't think I could walk back.
You rode electric bikes.
I couldn't get them to go.
My friend Sharon broke her collarbone on a business trip trying to ride one of those.
So then
I have a grievance about scooters.
And then when the taxi guy saw what was going on, he was like, "I'll take you." And I said, "Great." For some reason, I got in the front seat, and he said, "You don't have to wait for a lift. I'll take you right now. You got cash?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You take care of me." And I'm like, "Okay." I knew that it was $10 for a Lyft ride, and so I had a 20. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll give him a 20." I think I maybe gave him 25, whatever. And he was like, we had already got us to the hotel and I was paying him. And he's like, no, that's not enough. I'm like, fuck off, that's not enough. I said I'd take care of you. It was twice the amount that I was going to pay for a Lyft. This is what you're getting.
I think he maybe wanted a blowjob.
Oh, gross.
Oh, no, take care of me.
I think he wanted me to pay him a whole bunch of money and he knew I was drunk. And I was like, still not like playing ball.
Right, so she was 7.5, yeah. Motherfuckers. Yeah.
You were asking on a number scale?
No, I fell down, but I didn't give all my money away to the taxi driver. Mm-hmm. That's a 7.5.
I plugged my hearing aids in. I thought that was very exciting.
Yeah.
I washed my face.
Okay, so I figured out why no one knows any context to your hearing aids, because we didn't talk about your hearing aids until Brandy Melville, which we just released.
Yeah, I recognize that.
So
too,
like nobody understood that.
Yeah.
That's when we explained
that I can't hear.
Yeah.
But now they know.
Now you know. The more you know.
Yeah. And then I couldn't find my pajamas, so I slept in my dress.
Why wouldn't you sleep naked? Wasn't it just you and Matt?
No.
Oh, Rob and Callie.
Yeah, and it was a Tigers game, so the hotels
frowned upon.
were very expensive.
What do you mean?
It was there was no hotels available.
Oh,
it was a big.
So you were in there.
Tiger games. Yeah, so we were like,
fuck it.
Yeah, hang together.
Yeah, you don't need to be rolling over in the morning and everybody seeing Big and Little Jess.
Yeah, no.
That's what I call it.
Yeah,
for me.
Nope. So I slept in my dress. There it was.
There it was. And then what? Did you go to breakfast the next morning?
We did, and
Any shout outs, any good places, any good people? Did you give merch away?
Yeah, so the shout out that I'll give is we went to Detroit Distillery.
Ooh.
And
Shout out to the Detroit
Nico,
Distillery.
and I meant to bring it in here and I forgot.
Nico with a C or Nico with a K?
Nico with a C. And
Perfect.
he was amazing. The bartender, maybe like general manager, I don't know. And we were just chatting the entire time. He was lovely. And I gave him some chapstick. And so he gave me some fragrance that he makes. He makes fragrance. So it's like on a
Shout
little
out to
rolly.
Nico, the
Yes.
Distillery.
And it says something like common sense. Do you get it? Like sense?
Yeah.
Like fragrance sense?
Lady.
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
very,
I love
it was
that.
very clever.
Very clever.
Yeah, I was into it.
Okay, I have a couple grievances for you.
Okay, I'm
Matt.
ready.
I'm ready. Jessica is one of the few people out that can follow my location. And if she follows it today, she will notice that I was probably 3 minutes early in the window that I gave her. If I would have entered the driveway right the first time.
I only followed it so that I knew when I had to get off the couch.
I passed your driveway twice.
Oh, why?
Because the trees are now grown and you cannot see the sign. This is turning into an estate. I would like some proper signage.
No.
The Robinson Homestead.
Okay.
Like,
fair enough.
Something. Your husband is very talented. You could literally pick your sign, get it with a gate if that makes you feel a little more comfortable. But I can't find it. Again, this is turning into like a farmstead estate.
Compound.
That comes with a very cute sign out front so your people can find you.
Okay. All right.
Grievance number 2 is, and maybe we don't air this.
I hope
You have to agree as my friend that you will stop shooting things until you give me data as to why.
Oh, you were upset about the chicken?
No. Well, a little bit. No,
I did want to talk about the chicken.
I don't know if I can take it.
Oh.
My dog ate a rabbit this week. I literally don't think
My cat brought us a rabbit
I
too.
can't. I don't know why I can't take it anymore, but I cannot take it. But
I want to tell you why though.
don't shoot the turtles.
No, I'm not shooting the turtles. We have snapper turtles laying eggs.
Even
all
if
over
they
the place right now.
if they had 1,000 babies, only 1% would survive, and they
Okay.
do not have 1,000. They're not like a fish,
Right.
and we need them for our ecosystem.
Yeah, fair. Totally fair. I was
They eat the carps. Tell Maddie.
okay.
I made that up. But
Okay. I was gonna, did you see my pause? I was like not buying that. Okay, so the chicken. I'm not worried about the turtles. They'll be okay. The chickens. We had baby chickens. They grow up. We discover we have 3 roosters. That is at least 2 too many. And I put a little thing out to my chicken people and
I
said,
saw that. You gave it an effort.
yeah, and reached out to a couple people. Nobody wants a rooster. If you're in any of the chicken groups, roosters go in the freezer if nobody wants them. They just can't. You just can't have too many. It's just simply a problem. So I was waiting until my roosters became a problem.
Yep.
And twice, the particular rooster in question attacked one of my big laying hens, like got on top of her while we were cooking dinner, got on top of her, pecked her head. I think he killed one of my other laying hens. So
In the freezer you go, motherfucker.
well, we had him for dinner on Monday. So
What was that?
I don't know. I was like not even phased.
I don't even have anything.
I don't even see anything. Well, we still have the wine.
He's the one who ate the head off of the pretty.
I think
that
so.
makes sense. That makes more sense. In the middle of the day, just laying here and didn't.
Yeah, they were eating, whatever chickens do in the yard. And then that was the second instance. I saw it happen right before we had left for Detroit. And I was like, okay, well, this is a sign. And they free range. My kids go do, so like if he's going to be aggressive to the chickens,
Data says he'll be aggressive to the kids.
Yeah, that's already a hard no for me because all my chickens got to get along. But I don't even want to risk an attack on my kids.
Yeah, no.
So he's got to go. And then even if you tell somebody, nobody wanted him anyways. But then to say like, oh, okay, well, he's attacked my kids.
That's herd control though. You mean you herd controlled.
Yeah.
You had to for the sake of the herd. Mm-hmm. Most importantly, your children. And then Big Mama there just got persecuted on the steps of the studio for no reason.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So the kids were involved in the whole process. So Matt killed the chicken. I went and got it, and I plucked its feathers. I skinned it. I gutted it and put it in a bowl, and I roasted it.
My aunt used to do that shit, and she used to hang them. She used to do, listen to me, as a kid, if you pulled up to my aunt's house, she'd have fucking chickens hanging on the line. The same line the clothing would hang on. And be like, holy fuck. Those were my friends.
But they provided. So the discussion with the kids was that some chickens are for laying eggs and being our pets, and some chickens are for eating. We eat chicken from the store every single day.
Facts.
And we don't have a whole lot of feelings about that.
Yeah.
So that chicken we raised from the moment it was 1 day old to the end of its life. It had a very good life here.
Yep.
And ate well.
Did Matt snap its neck or what?
He shot it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. They used to just go.
I
cannot.
Yeah, and that's pretty aggressive. I mean, then the chickens are like flopping around.
My little grandma was like 100 pounds going. I cannot. You see, it's fucking. Can you imagine being Peyton being like, nobody's explaining this to me.
It was delicious though. Roasted it. The kids ate it all. They knew exactly what they were eating. Matt was very skeptical and very nervous, but he I think came around and liked it. So
save the turtles.
Yeah, we'll save the turtles.
Not the naughty chickens.
Don't worry about the turtles. But the chicken didn't. The mean roaster didn't make it.
Had to go. If you guys would have saw that poor. I knew something weird happened to her. Mm-hmm. Like, I either thought she got, like, bloat, like you know what I mean? Some sort of, because it wasn't a true other type of predator attack that you see. There was not even the heads up. Like, she just, so it's like he almost, like, beat her up to death.
Yeah. And the way that he attacked her that I saw twice, he was on her back, so she couldn't even really fight. You know what I mean? She couldn't.
He basically was a rapist and a murderer. Yeah. So he must be murdered.
Yeah.
Aggressively aligned.
All right. There we go on that one.
Move that one on. Don't have to worry about that one today. Speaking of animals, I went to the UP so we've talked about graduation parties. We have this year 25 graduation parties.
Oh my God. Not exaggerating.
Not exaggerating. Maybe 27. Out of my immediate family, 6 seniors graduated. So my cousin's kids. And I'm very close to a lot of my cousins. So we've had, out of my cousins' kids, I've went to 4 and missed 2. Mm-hmm. So we're about half and half because they're landing on the same days or like all the things.
Chaos.
So we go to the UP to hit 3 open houses.
Wow.
In one weekend. 2 on my mom's side and 1 on my dad's side.
Impressive. And
every time we go to the UP, we stay in my aunt's camper, which is arguably nicer than a lot of people's homes, and we very much enjoy it.
Yep.
This time, she said, you're going to stay in the house. Jen and Sean, my cousin and her husband, shout out to Parlor Donuts in Arizona.
Oh, yeah?
So that they own that. So they wanted to stay in the camper because Sean's a city slicker, as we call him, and he wanted a camping experience. Perfect. So it's just me and my mom and my sister. The kids don't come. We drive to the UP. It's lovely. When we were kids, I don't know how your dad drove, but like we never got to stop and see anything. Mm-hmm. So I've been to the UP over the bridge hundreds of times, hundreds, and never stopped at Niagara Falls. Like never seen a fucking thing but a rest stop.
At what falls?
Niagara. To calm down. Niagara. I definitely want to get to see Niagara Falls on the way to the UP. Tequananum Falls. Or like the glass boats tour. Like,
yeah, I've not done any of that either.
When my children were born, then my parents wanted to experience those adventures, which is fine. But as a kid, I haven't seen a whole lot of the UP.
Yeah.
My grandfather, who died last year, always called it God's country. I just knew it as like I'm going to Papa's or Auntie's house. Yeah. And then you just do family things in the city. You're not really seeing the country. Okay, so going with my mom and my sister, we get there. We get either a phone call or a text before we leave. I don't know the time frame of it. It was basically like, we have a weasel living in the camper.
Oh, wait, also, is a weasel the same as a mink?
It looks the same. They're the cutest little, smartest dicks.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they're kind of assholes.
They are dicks, dude.
Like, I would like to make a mink coat one day.
I have one. I know.
Okay, carry on.
Guess where I got it. If you can guess where I got it, I'll send you a koozie.
Goodwill. Okay, anyways.
An antique store, yeah. So... And apparently it smelled. Well, I had no context, right? So I'm like, okay, well, there's a weasel in the camper. Jen and Sean aren't staying in the camper. They're going up to Brad and Kara's. Shout out to Brad and Kara, Logan, Ayla. So they went to stay up there. So we get there, and my aunt and uncle proceed to tell me the story that I'm not really putting together, but apparently they had went camping last weekend, and their camper either smelled or didn't smell, and as it got warmer... But there was no signs of any rodents inside of the camper. Uh-huh. Well, at some point, my uncle...
In the walls? No,
just wait. The underbelly. So my aunt and uncle don't realize the camper is not smelling. I don't know. Long story short, they took the weasel camping with them. So the weasel had been living in the camper in their driveway all winter. They take the weasel on the camping trip. My uncle spots the weasel, like, out of the camper. Uh-huh. Long story short, fucker gets back in and they take it back home.
Oh my God.
So we get there and my uncle's got traps and he's bleached so it gets underneath the undercarry and it has pulled chipmunks and dead squirrels.
Oh yeah.
And
feasting on whatever it is.
Whatever it can find, and it's pissed in the undercarriage of their camper. So again, upstairs.
So is it like totaled? Because I don't know what you do about that.
My uncle bleached. And he's trapped. And so when I say the undercarriage, like think about, so all of you, it's like your car, right? So if you get underneath your car and you see all of the mechanics of the car, and a camper, at least their kind, it's not a nylon, but a very strong tarp type of material that snaps under the underbelly.
Like vinyl.
Like a vinyl.
Lightweight
vinyl. Yeah. So what that weasel had done is climbed up and used the vinyl
the floor.
As the floor.
For his little home.
For his home, and pissed and shit and brought dead animals in there for... Who knows? From the end of camping season last October. I mean, he's living in the Taj camper. Okay. So my uncle spends, and mind you, he has 2 grandchildren graduating. My aunt's cooking a shit ton of the food. They have their house full of people. And we've got a weasel. So I see him. He's whatever. So I get really invested in this weasel. Like obsessive. And I videotape. And I will share some of the footage with you. Long story short, we did not catch the weasel. I have seen the weasel in person 3 times. Looked at him in his beady little eyes.
Yeah, you couldn't trap it.
The first time I looked at him in his eyes, he was coming out of the camper. No, that's not true. I was throwing the ball with Brewer, and we were talking about this weasel, and we've been plotting this weasel, and my uncle's cleaning the camper, like, all day long, like, just cleaning it, and, like, bleaching it, and smelling it, and, like, all these things. And he goes in the house for 2 seconds, and I'm throwing the ball out back, and all of a sudden, I see this little shit come across the driveway with a huge black mole in its mouth.
Oh, my God.
Like this,
you screamed. I was wondering.
Holy shit. So I have it on video for you. I wanted to send it to you so bad. I've never wanted to kill something so bad in my life. I was obsessed.
See, now you know how it feels.
Well, we really tried to just live trap him and we would move him.
That's what
you know, like you can't live in the camper, bro.
Right.
Like my uncle said, like you're actually really good for keeping the ecosystem the way it needs to be. I don't have to worry about
for the world. Just don't be here. Yeah,
go in the shed. Like don't live in my camper. So I'm out there. My uncle just happens to go in the house. Okay, I'm like just hung up from a work call. I'm throwing the ball to the Brewster. I fucking see, here we go. He goes up into the camper. The next day, I'm out there.
I want to see.
You can't see anything. I missed the whole thing, but you can hear.
Oh.
He came out of the wheel well. You never see him on video. That's why they call him a weasel. I'm watching him and still didn't catch him. Watch. This is when I see him.
I got him on camera, but you did it.
I got him on camera coming out of there. Holy shit. We gotta shoot him. He's getting out between the wheel well.
It started over.
Okay, then
Wild time.
hand to my uncle.
Getting the gut out.
So we go back out there and we're like, where's the water source? Right? Because the camper's in the middle of the driveway on the side of the house. There's no water. But
Yeah.
the neighbors have a dog. My uncle and I are literally out back and there we see him underneath the truck. So we built a new trap. We watched YouTube videos. I watched Michigan Women Who Trap on YouTube. I'm not kidding
Send me that. I'm very interested.
She's
Michigan
bad
Women Who Trap.
ass,
Okay.
dude.
I'm very excited.
Shout out to the Michigan Woman Who Trap. She doesn't have a sweatshirt. Okay, we need one. It was fabulous. So long story short, I want to have a couple shout outs. I weasel hunted. We didn't get the weasel. I know why they call them weasels. To be determined if the camper's totaled. Auntie, Sarah, they all listen.
But it's different than a mink.
They look the same. So right now he is brown and his belly's white, but in the winter he turns all white. So he's in his spring summer transition right now. They are adorable. I would say they're cuter than a ferret, and people pet ferrets, but they are the smartest, sneakiest, but also like they're the type of animal who looks you in the face and says, "Fuck you, you're not gonna get me."
Yeah.
They are really cool. And I would get into trapping if we were releasing them in places where they're helping the ecosystem. I'm not getting into trapping just to shoot things.
Okay. Yeah, they are in the same family, mink and weasel.
Yeah, they're literally, when I saw him across the driveway, he was prancing, looking at me in the eyes with something in his mouth. Like, I'm going back in my house. You saw me 3 times in one day.
Little shit.
And I went inside of your live trap. And long story short, if you're going to trap a weasel, you got to trap them in like a birdhouse type thing. Like not a live trap that has open sides, open gate, almost like a full wood box. And you throw liver in there and there's actually live liver. So don't get me wrong, we got liver. I mean, I'm telling you, Jess, you know how we do. Like when I got obsessed about the weasel hunting, I couldn't think about anything else.
I couldn't think about anything else.
And I was so hopeful to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be determined.
Yeah, I was just going to say, follow up.
Shout out to the UP. My grandfather always called it God's country. It truly is. I spent the afternoon with one of my favorite cousins and his beautiful family, and we went all over the UP. We 2-tracked, we ran dogs, we stopped at rivers. It is this beautiful. I've been to Bend, Oregon a couple times, and they've really commercialized it and liberalized it, and cities slickered it. It's just as beautiful.
Yeah.
In the UP that it is in any place out west, honestly, I've ever seen.
I think that Michigan is a hidden gem, and I think in the next 10 years, the people who do all the Pacific Northwest, like, I think whatever's happening in other parts of the world, they're going to come to Michigan, and they're going to take over.
Stay out. We don't need you. If you live in Michigan and you have any money, stop spending it on cigarettes and beer and buy our land. Buy our land. Own our land. Do not let people come in here and buy our land and our natural resources. I'm telling you.
And don't develop it. Keep the trees.
Keep the trees. Keep the snappers. Shout out to Ripley's Campground. Absolutely gorgeous in the UP. If you're up there, I bought all the merch and all the swag from them. I'm going to send them stuff. It's a campground like no other I've seen, right on the river and yurts. It's family friendly.
Yeah.
It literally has a brewery on site that looks over like 10 stories up, that looks over a beautiful stream that you can sit down on every story all the way into the water in Adirondack chairs. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It gets tears in my eyes because my papa called it God's country.
And he was right.
I never understood what he meant by that until that day in my 40s. We went to Lake Superior. We picked up beautiful stones that you see on Etsy for hundreds of dollars.
Petoskey stones.
Gorgeous stones. So shout out to the UP.
Very cool.
Fuck the weasel.
Fuck the weasel.
Congrats to all of the kiddos who've graduated. You all should be real proud of yourself. All these open houses that I went to, the awards, and your hustle. Like, I don't know if we give this generation enough. Yeah. We call them lazy and we call them this and we call them that, but at least the graduation open houses that I'm going to, you kids have accomplished more at 18 than I've accomplished at 40. Mm-hmm. So shout out to the kids who are graduating.
Yeah. Well done, boys and girls.
Jess is not a murderer per se. So yesterday we go to, I'm not going to tell you the college, but we go to a college for high school basketball. Mm-hmm. They run team camps all over the state. Kids come. Love it. Sister-in-law number 1, sister-in-law number 2 are there. So Tay and I both have kids on the team. Auntie Jen's there for the ride.
That's funny.
We're in the balcony of this said gym, university, where we have said friends who work and are professionals and, probably serve on boards with me. And I'm running the garage sale. Yeah. So Tay's over here looking adorbs. I have on the kids' Yeezys and like my mom's sweater I pulled off the shelf and I have dirty fingernails. Like I'm working the garage sale. Okay? And as we do, I'm carrying planters to cars. I'm loving it. Jen, looks like Jan, fabulous as always. And she opens up her little llama bag, as we have. And she goes, oh, I have a fireball in there. And I was like, oh, Tay said that this game was in the evening. It's not. It's at 2:00. So let's take a shot of Fireball. Give it to me in said university. The good news of this story is I didn't drink it. I was kidding.
Oh.
It was still
You can't drink it?
Bennett's playing high school basketball. There's cameras everywhere. No, I didn't. I didn't drink it. So that's the good news. Because if I did drink it, I probably would not tell the story. Okay. I feel a lot more confident that a full bottle of Fireball fell out of my bag onto the gym floor over the balcony.
That's what happened? You dropped it?
Yes. So I grabbed it from Jen and went, give me that. Popped it in my purse. My little bag, because I lost my wallet. I don't have a wallet. That's my new purse.
Of course.
And I had that bag in it. I flipped off the counter and the Fireball went boop, down to the ground. And Jay's face got red and Jen's face got red. And I was like, Elsie. My niece.
Yeah.
Or no, Tay goes, Elsie, go get the Fireball, Angie. So my other sister-in-law, Em, wasn't there. So we have, obviously, as you do, have a sister-in-law group text. And Tay says at late last night, she goes, can we circle back to when Heather dropped a Fireball shot off the balcony onto a high school basketball bench? Stop, Emily says. Not today, right? Tay says, absolutely today.
Absolutely today.
Jen says, can't take you bitches anywhere. And this is an inside joke. Literally, beauty is beauty, Tay said. It's an inside joke her husband said that started a fight in a club in Portugal. Recent. Yeah, the only fight they had. Because as we do, we love our husbands when our kids aren't around. Yeah. She mentioned that a couple times. I was like, facts.
It's true.
It's so true. I said, yep. Tell the whole fucking story, though. It was Jen's, and I didn't even drink it. That's the actual story. Tay said it was, in fact, in Jen's first. Tay said it was a full unopened Fireball shot. Even better, bah-ha-ha. The coach looked up like
what the hell? Moms.
And then Em says, oh, I get left out of all of this because I have small children, and Nico's the coach. That's bullshit.
Yep.
So, yeah, Fireball. All right, tell me about what's going on in LA. Let's serious it up, sister. I want to know. Okay. I want to stir you up a little bit.
Where to start?
The two people in charge have ran that to the ground for a really long time. It isn't the voice of all the people, the mayor
why does it run to the ground? Like what is
they're broke. They're broke. They have no money. California's so broke. They're so broke. It's really fucked up. Yeah, it's real fucked up out there. They're homeless. Here's what I will tell you.
The homeless, yeah, sure. But the government is not broke. Mm. They pay into the government. They are a surplus state. They give more than they consume. By
say that again.
$80 million or something. I don't know the number off the top of my head.
So basically nothing. I mean, 80 million's nothing. I mean, you could get rid of that tomorrow.
For the economy, sure.
Are there states that are sucking us or that we're giving more to? Like, what does the average state give back?
I don't know. I just know that they are a surplus state. The people of California give to the United States of America, the rest of the United States of America, more than they take financially from a tax perspective. California is the fourth largest economy in the world. If it were a country, it would be a country bigger than probably the rest of the United States, like very close to it.
Texas, California, yeah.
Yeah.
The big guys.
Yep. They're not broke. People are not doing well. But if we're saying that we are a nation where the states have sovereignty and can make those decisions, I do think that's a California problem. We've got other problems. Like Detroit had a whole bunch of issues too. Nobody came in with guns a-blazing and said, we've got to get you under control. This is just a political, it's a political statement because it's one of the most, maybe arguably the most liberal leaning state. And again, so be it. Let them have their own beliefs and choices. I think California people are crazy. But
so that's fair too. Like they're not your. I mean, they're really not the greenwashing and the this. And
I think it's just not. I wouldn't live my life in California. Well, great weather, but
I think you would in Northern California.
Yeah, great. Like the people,
Northern California is a lot like this.
Yeah, sure.
Space for days.
Sure.
Yeah,
but
you're not living in LA.
LA culture is like
LA specifically.
Yeah. Crazy to me. Maybe even San Diego.
Yeah. Now that we know everyone in Hollywood's disgusting. Hide your kids, hide your wives.
But that's all that's again, America. We get to be who we want to be. We should be able to be who we want to be. So there are more troops in LA than there troops. Marines. There's a few hundred Marines, a few thousand National Guard that are reporting to the Chief Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, not to the state of California, like they should. And we have more troops in California than we do in Syria and Iran combined. Why do we have... And there's more troops than protesters. There's more federalized militia people than protesters.
Is there another time in American history where we can look back and say, okay, they did this during the riots. They did this during They
didn't do it this way. This has never been done this way before.
Ever.
Mm-mm. Not this way.
And what's the problem?
I think that this is a step where Donald Trump is trying to, and maybe even broadly, not even him alone, MAGA Republicans, because I think we should separate
Republicans from MAGA Republicans.
I really do.
Yeah, I do too.
I had considered myself, I have a hard time considering myself a Democrat.
Me too.
I had always considered myself a Republican, but I can't, don't do Donald Trump. That's just.
We know you don't.
So I'm in some world where
of reason, hopefully still.
Yeah, I don't feel like I belong.
If you're in a world of reason, you don't have a home anymore. Yeah. I do feel that way a little bit.
Yeah.
On both sides. I don't have a home.
I agree. I don't feel like I belong to any of the things.
Yeah.
So I think that MAGA Republicans are trying to assert authority and control. There's going to be a military parade today at some point. I don't know if it's while we're talking. Do you know
military parade?
It's Donald Trump's birthday. He's having a $40-50 million military parade.
So again, I tried to not be an extremist, but that does seem very, very Nazi to me. Very,
too.
very, very.
Think Russia, North Korea.
They all do the same
Nazis.
thing.
Yes. Yes. That's wild. With tanks and fighter jets.
So what's the rest of California doing? Are they coming? Are they just... They're also... People are fleeing California super quick. And they have continued to.
Mm-hmm. I don't really... Like I said, I don't care about California. I don't really... None of that has anything... That shouldn't matter to the federal government. Mm-hmm. That's a California problem. There's nothing, I think, that is they need rescuing. The officials literally said don't come here, don't do that. I think what's upsetting people and continuing to fuel protests is the fact that there are federalized troops on the streets of LA. If they just left, I think it would not be.
What about if the people just went in their house and they're like, okay, go out there and do your cute little parade, and we're all just going to sit here and let you guys do, because it's not as good of news if there isn't a fight. Right? Like I was reading something or listening to something on the way here today that's basically like with Adidas. So I'll give you a teaser. These two brothers had a huge falling out. And they made amends before their death, but never let anybody knew they made amends, because the controversy of the two of them created demand around. Yeah. So let's say Magda came here, right? Or whatever we call it. It's funny that we call Marines Magda. That's also, to me, like, I had a Marine who was the best man in my fucking wedding.
Yeah.
He did things at 18 years old and had to do things and had to see things for an extreme amount of time that were life or death situations, that were incredibly brave, that were like, he's still the toughest person in the fucking room, emotionally, physically, all of it. So to like send folks like that.
Yeah.
Into places like that in their own country.
Citizens is shocking.
It's a little weird.
It's pretty shocking to me.
Yeah.
I think anybody that I've heard from I don't know anybody personally that's spoken about this, but who are military, but anybody that I had.
If you're military, shout out, like educate us, like please.
Yeah. Like
I know we have some folks who are military who listen. I know for sure.
Yep.
Because I've talked to a couple of you. So what do you think? Humble us.
Yeah.
You know, explain the things to us. What are they, you know?
And the root of the problem isn't.
And why are they there?
So that is.
So why does Donald Trump say they're there?
Because he says there's a failing governor. He doesn't like Newsom.
Does anybody like Newsom?
Actually, the more that he talks, so California people don't like him because they're California people, and he's a little bit more conservative. If what's his name? Something Newsom. What is his first name? Whatever, Newsom. Gavin? I don't know. Anyways, if Governor Newsom had his own political party, I probably actually would align to it. I think he's pretty reasonable from my point of view. So ICE raids started to come to LA. The originating situation was that they came to a Home Depot looking for people who are illegal immigrants working at Home Depot. That's what happened. And people stood outside and said, "You're not coming into my community," and just starting to raid.
They were worried about illegal immigrants working at the Home Depot? Why are we worried about that?
That's what ICE is doing right now. That's why there's
Is there
protests.
any people who isn't an illegal immigrant who wants a job at the Home Depot who ain't getting one?
They're working there.
That's what I mean, though. Like, if you wanted a job at the Home Depot, are illegal immigrants taking your job as a legal citizen? No.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Who the fuck is lining up to work at the Home Depot? And if you are, call in.
That is not even the point. The point is just that they're illegal, and they want them out. They want people who are undocumented out of the country. Criminals or not, they don't care. They, being MAGA Republicans and the Secretary of Homeland Security, wants him out. Wants illegal immigrants out, good, bad, or ugly. They don't care.
What if they're in the process of legalization?
People are showing up to their check-ins to renew their status and being detained and taken out. So they're doing the right thing.
So I guess I would say, if I'm again going to start up, I'd say you have all of these people here who aren't paying taxes like the rest of us.
They do pay taxes.
How?
They pay taxes so they work at Home Depot. They still pay taxes into the system. They just don't get any benefits from it. So like billions of dollars. Billions of dollars.
So how do they sign up without a social security number? They just write a fake one down?
No, I don't know how it works.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
how would you pay taxes if you don't have any?
Yeah, because you still have to. It comes out of your paycheck.
But you have to have like an EIA. They must have all fake. They must sign up for all. Think about when you start a new job. You have to have.
Yeah. I knew that was going to happen. Okay, paper towels.
Actually bothers me. Anyway, I'm not expecting you to have the answer to this question. What I'm saying is it's puzzling to me that, like, I start working at my new job and they have to have my social security, my IEN number, my home address. Like, they must be fabricating that.
Something. I have no idea. So
they are paying taxes.
Plausible. Yeah.
Billions.
Yeah.
Says who?
Like tens of billions.
Says the... What are they getting everybody hyped around to say, yeah, we got to go to California? Like, what? I'm not saying what is the... We believe the true cause.
I don't know what the
What
media
is Fox News reporting?
I don't... okay, I don't know for sure. I've only listened to like social media clips from Donald Trump himself and how he talks, and videos of people locally. I haven't spent a lot of time on like traditional news, to be honest. What Donald Trump says is that, to the message that you were alluding to, that like California is out of control.
Based on what facts? Does he have like bullet points, whether it be the homeless population?
Someone set one Wemo on fire.
What's a what?
A self-driving taxi car. Somebody set one on fire. And like that's the picture that is being reported as,
so no
like,
liberals are setting electric cars on fire.
I don't know the political stance, but
I mean, generally.
And I think like that's just somebody being a criminal in taking advantage of the chaos. And I think like the people of California.
So that's the photo. That's the Time News shot.
Yeah.
That they're living and breathing and dying on.
I think so. That's what the press secretary held up in, her little stand that she does. That's the picture she held up.
What do you think of that press secretary?
I don't like her. She's so dumb.
She's so dumb.
She's just a puppet. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know if she's dumb.
I actually think she's probably really smart. She's just playing dumb. I'm actually like genuinely scared. Like it makes me nervous. I get anxiety.
I told my sister-in-laws, buy your ammunition, buy your land, get your basements.
Yeah.
Get prepared.
I think it's a really dangerous time. Like I really, really do. I think we should be questioning him if you voted for him and you're not seeing what you wanted from him. Like I think we should be challenging that. I don't think anybody is arguing against putting dangerous illegal immigrants away, but like raiding a Home Depot, showing
what do you say when people say, well, how do you think all this fentanyl went away already? Because that's what they're saying. He's got all of these dangerous illegals out and he's got control of our borders, and now you don't hear about fentanyl. Do you believe that?
I haven't seen a difference in, like, I don't know. To me, I wasn't voting anyway based on immigration. That is just not a policy. Like when I said a couple of episodes ago, we talked about, I don't know if it made the cut or not, but I am in this phase of my life where I don't have to have opinions about everything. Yes. And immigration is just one of them that I really still don't have like a die on the hill opinion for.
I don't either.
It wasn't persuading my vote. So I wasn't hearing about fentanyl any more or less. If he's getting dangerous criminals out, great. Like I will applaud, like I don't care. I don't have any stake in that game. But they're showing up to graduations. They're showing up to Home Depot. They are showing up at job sites and taking good, hard workers with families who haven't done anything wrong other than just being here undocumented. Now, there's an opportunity to say, well, let's fix how to get people through a legal process because it's not easy. I don't know how hard or easy it is, but like I've listened enough to understand that it's just not as simple as saying, oh, go get legal, like just become legal.
My sister-in-law is a U.S. citizen now, and she had to fly to New York City to be a citizen and like literally answer questions about our government that I cannot answer. The process is incredibly...
And there's an application process. It's not
just
a choice.
You have to be able to read and you have to be able to write. And Em was able to get to New York City to the consulate or wherever she went. But I'm just saying, to your point, the process was not easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy for an educated white female whose family has lived and worked for one of the largest companies in the world for the last 40... It wasn't easy for him.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you didn't speak English?
Right.
Didn't have the means to get to New York City?
Right. So I feel like the whole thing is sad. Like I feel...
Is there any data of how many illegal immigrants work in all of his hotels and properties?
I don't know. Did you see the video of the mom being deported? Like
I can't.
ICE was taking her and her daughter was seriously... Like I could cry thinking about it. It was so sad.
You don't even cry. So sad. You can't handle it.
Do you want to watch it?
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, I want to watch it. I want to watch it.
I'll have to find it and send it later. It is so sad. Like, they take her and they literally rip her daughter from her arms, and her daughter is like, mommy, mommy, mommy.
Why are these men and women doing this? Can't our military say, no, we're good, we're not going in here and doing this? Like, do you have to follow? What if the military didn't follow orders? Then you're like dishonorably discharged? Apologize for my ignorance.
No, I know. No, I don't know.
You just you have to?
But like, is the craziest thing. So I just think that is sad. I don't have a political point of view on immigration. I really don't. I don't feel strongly. Like, I have an economic point of view and a feelings point of view. And then what I am politically very concerned about is the control that he's exerting over a state who said, no, don't invade. Like, somebody that
I didn't ask you for help. That's unheard of, right? Like,
yeah, somebody that I think you and I both know and respect commented on my Facebook post and said, like, that is an occupied state now.
Yeah.
California is.
Yeah. Do we know what that means? Does everybody know what that means when you're an occupied state?
That's scary. I think that's really scary. I think I would not be surprised if Detroit's next.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of it. Detroit has one of the, I don't know, it's a large population of immigration for a lot of reasons. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't know a whole lot about it, but did you catch that episode we did on Comfort? Comfort is a sweatshirt, loungewear, sweatpants company that, as so far as we can see, an ethical, sustainable organization and something is emerging, growing, relatively new company. And we've partnered with them to get you 15% off. All you have to do is go to comfort.com/stirreduppod to get 15% off one of the comfiest sweatshirts and sweatpants you can find.
Today, we're going to talk about Adidas. So, long story short, about 7 years ago, I went to Brand Week. I don't remember where it was, doesn't matter. And the CMO, so Chief Marketing Officer of Adidas, as we say, and was there, and he was talking about the brand strategy, and he was, as you do.
Yeah.
Long story short, it's Adidas.
It really is?
It's Adidas.
Oh, I thought that was a joke.
It's not a joke. My kids call it a joke. They go, oh, it's Adidas, right, Mom? Adidas. It's Adidas.
That feels weird.
His name was Adolf.
Okay. It's German?
It's German.
Okay.
And also, the twist is, it was also started by a brother named Rudolph.
Oh, my God.
So Rudolph and Adolf. Adolf being the first part of Adidas.
Okay.
And the city in which they were born, raised, and was truly a shoemaking city in Germany. So he combined those two names. Mm-hmm. They were born in the 1800s.
Oh, shit.
Went to World War I.
Oh, my God.
At the end of the war, didn't really have to do much, came back. Their family owned a bakery, but they lived in a town in Germany that was famously known for shoes, and they were obsessant about football, meaning soccer. Back in the day, so they worked in the bakery. They were two brothers. Adolf, meaning Adi, was his for short, Dassler, and then his brother Rudolph. And in the business partnership from product development all the way through, one was always the engineer and one was always sort of the face of the business and could literally sell, glasses to a blind man. And
since it was a shoe city, they started with shoes. Like, that was their OG product?
That was their OG.
Okay.
How it has been, was been, whatever. And why they started it is because back in the day, men and women, primarily men, would wear their same dress shoes to play football.
I wondered that. Okay.
And so while they worked in the bakery, their town was known for shoes. And so they opened what was called, doesn't matter. So they decided to make shoes. So one was focused on the product and the innovation, and obviously there was a problem to solve for because they're wearing these shoes. Well, very quickly the coaches realized that performance was improving, and so they were also very smart businessmen. So whether they gave the shoes away or they started paying for the shoes, like professional football teams were wearing these shoes. They didn't actually form Adidas until Adidas until 1949.
Okay, so it's old.
If you Google Adidas, what you will find is they had ties to the Nazis, 100%.
Oh my God, that's interesting.
it comes out, whether you watch YouTube videos, whether you read, did they have Nazi ideals? I don't generally believe they did. Did they join forces with the Nazi because it was easier to run their plants and distribute their shoes, and they sell their souls for the devil to do that? They absolutely did.
Okay.
They then had to go to World War II. They were captured in let me step back. The Olympics were held, so they're in with Hitler, right? They're in with the Nazis. The Olympics are held in Berlin, I believe. And it was very important to the brothers, even to the Nazis, that everyone wore Adidas shoes, the Dassler brothers shoes. So very famously, Jackie Owens was given a pair of shoes to run in.
Jesse Owens.
Not Jesse.
I think it was Jesse Owens.
Yeah. So he formlessly wore the Adidas shoes, even though the brand hadn't been established. Remember, it was the Dassler
That's so interesting.
And so they're in with the Nazis just to, right?
Yeah.
Be able to do production.
It's also like kind of what you did in Germany in that era. Or you die.
Or you die. Obviously, the Nazis were not happy when Jesse Owens wore the shoes, but he did anyway. So what's interesting is like
controversial,
right? So and so then you fast forward to like World War II, and they were captured in World War II, and this is when the fight between the brothers started to take over. I'm not sure why. I've listened to YouTube videos, I followed things. Long story short, I think one might have thrown the other one under the bus during capture. The Americans had captured them. A year later, they let them both go. They say, okay, yeah, you were in the war. You were tied to the Nazis, but you really weren't supremacy in the lengths of where. So they gave them back. And so when they went back to Germany, to their shoe shop, they both proclaimed 50-50 rights of it, and started going back business as usual. So you'll read headlines on YouTube where it's like, the ties to the Nazis, and they're sort of like thriller headlines or catch bait headlines. Again, find something that tells me they were, but generally they were in and out, and maybe they sold a little bit of their soul. But I think in the end, when Jesse Owens is wearing your shoes in the middle of all that, I can't imagine they were true, Nazi, whatever. So they come back after the war, and they are in a fight. They even at the end of most stories tell you, even though they were, hey Bells, even though at the end of their lives they had come back together, they didn't publicly, because they were in big feuds. So they come back from war, they go back to the Dassler shoe shops. We're now fast forward to the 40s, and they just can't work together anymore. So they split, and they got 50-50 of the patents, 50-50 of the assets, 50-50 whatever, and they created two brands, two very famous brands. The first one we're talking about today, and the second one perhaps could be...
I have no idea.
Puma.
No shit. I had no idea.
And for years, until the 70s, when Phil Knight launched Nike, or at least when Nike took over, in the 70s is when Nike took over as the leader, Puma and Adidas were the leaders in athletic footwear, gear, period. Primarily today, they do still focus on football. They have the #1 running shoe in Ultra Boost. Everyone loves the Ultra Boost.
That's my shoe.
They've got some controversy across the board, whether it's Bella Hadid in 2022 doing an ad that got canceled, whatever. Long story short, Adidas is iconic. They really focus on innovation. They are a runner's shoe of choice. The brothers famously did come back together later in life. One died at 74 in the 80s. One died at 78 4 years later. They're famously buried on opposite ends of the cemetery. They didn't publicly share they came back together at a point in their town, like from the 40s on. It was very separated on who was an Adi fan versus who was a Rudolph fan, because people wore like Michigan State. Puma versus Adidas. In the city.
Which is like good for business.
And that was the point. So they believed that conflict drove conversation, and conversation drives attention, and attention drives demand. And I think if you look at modern media, whether it be Republicans versus Democrats, whether it be anything,
or even just any sports feud.
Like, listen, if you're Britney Spears and you're doing videos and people are making fun of you, are you rather to be made fun of or not talked about at all? So I think that was sort of the basis. So they never really outwardly exclaimed they were friends, but those who have followed their lives have said to be. So I'm going to read you some fun facts about Adidas. These I have not lost. So Adidas logo history and meanings, right? Ever wondered how the Adidas logo came to be, Jessica?
I've not really thought about it, but I'm curious now.
1949 was the beginnings. And so it was the only produced sports shoe of its time. So starting with the Dassler brothers and then going to Adidas. So the 3 stripes, of course, sitting between extended tails on the 2 Ds in Adidas. Sportschuh, which is sports shoes in German, is written beneath Adidas. And the logo often appeared in the shade of blue that become classic for the brand. So by the 1970s, they introduced what was called the trefoil. So, and that's the leaf as you know it today.
Oh, yeah.
For visual. Was that water?
No, that was candle.
Oh, good. So in 1972, they added the new logo, which is that trefoil, and branched out from also solely selling shoes to as their line extended.
Okay.
And so they worked with a German creative agency, and that new flower, if you will, or trefoil, it was inspired by florals and that leaf shape to stay consistent with Adidas' notoriety as a brand with the 3 stripes. Ever present, the 3 stripes run through the leaves. So you have the 3 stripes and you have the leaves. So you'll see Adidas where you'll have the 3 stripes like on your Samba, or you might have an Adidas shirt with it almost looks like a water lily to me in a way.
I agree.
They call it a trefoil.
Okay.
In the 90s, they introduced the introduction of the equipment logo and the 3 bars. So now remember the triangle. And we'll share this all on social. So the triangle is iconic, and you'll see that a lot in tennis now and in football. So you have the triangle with the Adidas underneath, which I thought was really interesting.
That is the logo that resonates in my memory the most.
So they started with the 3 stripes, and they just incorporated that to whether it's the trefoil, which I would think is more feminine, maybe your triangle, that's maybe more rugged. I don't know, but very interesting. They've always worked with visionary designers. They've always worked with creative consultants. And what's really interesting to me is in 1991, when they featured the 3 stripes and the 3-bar arrangement with the words Adidas equipment sitting below an Adidas sporting green color, it feels similar because they finally combined the Adidas word mark, which was really fun today. So today you'll basically see all 3 of them. You'll see the 3 stripes on a pair of tennis shoes. You'll see the triangle with Adidas perhaps on a women's running bra. And then if you have a cute crop top that's perhaps in a hiking type deal, you might see the flower. So their brand's been iconic. They didn't protect their stripes well. It's a whole controversy. I think probably with the time that we have today talking about, Yeezy and that brand collab and sort of some of the stuff they have there in terms of controversy. Again, they've had controversy with some ads. And then, here's 11 surprising thoughts, which I thought was really fun. Ready? We already said the first one. Adidas.
Yeah.
Number 2, the 3 iconic stripes were first used in 1952. They were initially added to the company's shoes to provide greater stability to support athletes. So that leather strap that comes up. So if you look at shoes, they're leather, but then they typically have a suede right there. That was to help the sole and the shoe as it rounded around sort of not stability.
Keep it firm.
Like the
structure to the shoe.
Structure to the house. Adidas Samba was the first indoor soccer shoe. That was introduced in the 50s, was originally designed as a soccer training shoe, but over the years has become the most iconic shoe, both for timeless style and versatility. And I don't think the argument with Tory Burch is the same argument we have here. I think Sambas are forever classic.
Okay.
Gorge.
Interesting.
The Adidas Superstar. So in 1969, Adidas launched the Superstar. Love this one. It was the first low-top basketball shoe, and it featured an all-leather top with a famous rubber shell. You'll see how Adidas still does that today. They'll pull the shell up from the side of their shoes. Again, it's still a streetwear staple today. 2 classics. Boom, boom. Adidas Stan Smith, this is the tennis legend, originally designed for Stan Smith, who was a tennis player, in 1965, became one of Adidas's best-selling shoes of all time. It's simple, clean, and comfortable, and is made among a sneaker enthusiasts. The birth of Boost technology.
That's my jam.
Adidas Boost technology was introduced in 2013. So that's a big gap from 1965, and then this cool facts fun line doesn't change.
Yeah.
So again, I might have read something
big
insignificant,
gap.
but it seems like a gap to me. So in 2013, Adidas launched the Boost technology, which you and every other person on the entire internet loves, and nobody can argue with me that there's not a better running shoe, particularly if you have a wide foot.
100%.
It quickly became the hallmark of Adidas performance shoes. So if you want to run, unlike the Samba, who perhaps isn't used for soccer in the way it was today and more streetwear, 22 or 12 years later, the performance shoe, is still a runner's choice.
Yeah.
Number 7, and then we'll circle, the Yeezy collaboration. So in 2015, Adidas partnered with Yeezy and launched the Adidas Yeezy line of sneakers. It was wildly successful. We own over 15 pairs in my house. It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
But they're actually very comfortable. So to me, it was brilliant in combining streetwear, pop culture, someone with a voice, someone a little controversial. I mean, Adidas started with 2 guys who sided with the Nazis. Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah. And then he ends up being anti-Semitic. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying. So that's fun. But the Yeezy shoe sold out in minutes. And today, if I'm going to throw a pair of my kids' shoes on, they are a Yeezy slide. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your technology, though. That shit shrinks in the sun.
Can I give you my Yeezy fast fact that I know?
Give it to me, girl.
So when Kanye West and Adidas parted ways and severed their relationship.
Adidas.
They had warehouses of shoes already manufactured, and they destroyed them.
Destroyed them?
Yeah. They could not even give them away because it would dilute the value. It would dilute the Adidas value, but everybody wanted the Yeezys, and they refused to sell them. So some are sitting in a warehouse still, I think, but warehouses full of manufactured shoes were already created. They parted ways, and Adidas lost a ton of money in the choice to part ways at that point. They also started to cover up his Kanye West behavior. He was abusive in meetings to executives and people he was working with at Adidas.
He's bipolar.
Yeah, totally. And they covered a lot of stuff up, and it just started to become public, and that's why they had to part ways. Wild times.
Terrible.
Okay, anyways.
So a little less entertaining in number 8, between 2015, they partnered with Kanye West, so they lost Allegiance, it sold out. And they started doing their Future 4D, 3D printed shoes.
Okay.
It's called Adidas Futurecraft 4D. Introduced in 2018, is a collection of shoes with midsole crafted using digital light synthesis technology. This 3D printing process allowed precise control over cushioning and support. Number 9, we're still now in 2018. It is now the Ultra Boost is the runner's favorite. Yeah. So launched in 2013, about a 5-year period, and now everyone's raging. It was first released, as I said, in 2015, is beloved by runners for its comfort, responsiveness, stylish design. It features a prime knit upper and a boost midsole for a smooth, energized run. It's all about support.
Feels like
shocking
socks.
system.
For me, it feels like socks. It feels like nothing.
I love them too. Adidas NDM. Also in 2015, they launched a modern classic. It's combined street style with cutting-edge technology. It features a boost midsole and a sock-like prime knit upper, making it a favorite among sneakerheads and urban explorers alike. And then, number 11, it says, Adidas Originals is a sub-brand that celebrates the brand's rich history and iconic designs. It includes reissues of classic Adidas shoes for men, like the Gazelle, the Campus, and the 80s Continental 80, which appears to be popular among fashion consumers. Conclusion. From its humble beginnings with 2 brothers who were baker's children, but living in a footwear town who enjoyed football. They've met a really incredible mark on the world. I'll give you a couple of fun facts about their sustainability, their environmental goals, pretty aggressive. And I think at the end of the day, they still have a commitment to quality, innovation, classic. I think they continue to push their innovation. I think you can see it in terms of how Nike's performing versus Adidas. Adidas?
I'm just going to say Adidas. I'm just going to say Adidas.
And whether I think you're a kid walking down the street or a mama with her wide leg jeans, you like a good classic Adidas. And I think if you do the things and run the things, you like them too.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick for you, because this is part of, we talk about this and I think I forget sometimes. If you listen to our opening and our podcast, at times we talk about sustainability and all these things. I think sometimes we bypass that. Maybe because I think we are greenwashed a lot and there isn't a lot of transparency and we can only find what we can read. And it's really hard to know what's going on unless you're in it, in the industry. I think we know we've taught our audience and ourselves enough about fashion and how terrible that is. Yeah. Long story short, they're actively working on environmental issues. They have ambitious goals around their environmental footprint. They want to reach net zero by 2050. Okay. They have science-based target initiatives, which there's an acronym. It's like SBTI, science-based target initiatives, to align to a 1.5 Celsius pathway. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the conversion is, but I generally know what they're saying. All good things. Yeah. They're working to reduce greenhouse gas emissions across operations and supply chain, with a 70% reduction in scope and 1 and 2 emissions by 2030. Okay. Circularity. So they are developing circular products made to be remade. I care about. That's what I care about the most. And so if you think, it's called MTBR line, made to be remade, which are designed to be completely recycled after use. They use recycled materials, specifically recycled polyester, and exploring plant-based and ocean plastic alternatives like prime green and prime blue. They also focus on sustainable rubber sourcing and are working to improve transparency in their natural rubber supply chain. Okay. Packaging. Again, they're working with suppliers to reduce energy consumption, maximize renewable energy use, improve chemical management, and then they're doing packaging again today. They have a 2023 report. They're a publicly traded company. Puma went IPO before Adidas. I don't remember the years, 60s, 80s, 60s, whatever, give or take. So if you want to read about Adidas in a way that you can't read about a lot of these brands that we read, you can dig into their annual report. There's audits that do that. They're held to the fire by their shareholders. I think they're doing generally the right things. They have not done everything perfect. But if you look at some of the goals relative to their footprint, they are what big businesses are doing in terms of their net zero goals, their packaging goals, their
doing the bare minimum or doing a little bit above and beyond.
I think a net zero goal by 2050 is pretty aggressive. Yeah. I mean, it's
kind of a long way, a long time. 2050 is a long time. But
200 years. The company's almost 200 years old by 2028. No, 1890 something. Okay. So 1990 something. They're not even 150 years old. Yeah. So in 150 years, could you go from World War to Nazi collapse to now we care about net zero in 150 years? Right. Better than some are fucking doing. So again, for sure. Relative to our scale of how drunk are you, 7.5 to 10, I think Adidas is doing a good job. But again, tell us why not. I can't find, again, they have not always done things right. There is controversy. I think there's so many cool parts of the story today, and then realizing that 2 brothers, iconically, in a small town in Germany who went to World War I, again, World War II, came back, still had a thriving company. A black man wore their shoe in the height of the Berlin Olympics, which catapulted their brand. Not even the brand, but the shoe, the product. Yeah. The product. Because at that time, it was the product. The shoe was the product. Yeah. And then to circle around and realize that through all of this research that you didn't just create Adidas, you created Puma.
Yeah, that came out of it.
Pretty cool. Yeah. And led the way until Phil Knight said, I can do it better. Yeah. And now, again,
still incredibly competitive.
And incredibly competitive, right? You don't see a lot of Adidas in hockey, but you certainly see Adidas in
every single other sport. Yeah.
Tennis, running, you name it, you see it. Obviously, football,
and continuing to reinvent themselves.
Okay,
interesting.
So I will clink to Adidas.
All right.
I will absolutely clink to an Ultra Boost. And who doesn't want a cute colored Samba?
I'll clink to Adidas too.
If you want to learn more, dial in.
Comfort.com/startuppod.
If you want a sweet, awesome, they have really cute sets for summer, y'all. I ordered 2 or 3 the other night, and so I'll wear them next time. Also, I forgot to tell Jessica this. We had a listener drop off matching T-shirts for us.
Oh, cool.
To my house that I didn't know. Random. Like a true
to put
organic list. No, T-shirts for us to wear on our bodies.
Oh.
While we record.
Oh my God. Oh, fun.
And a treat for both of us.
Okay, cool.
So next episode, because I wanted to wear my pajamas this morning.
Very good. Thanks.
Right.
Thank you for listening to Stirred Up. If you like what you heard, please subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. Follow us on your podcast apps. Please send it to a friend. Leave a comment. Add a rating. Every little bit helps. We look forward to seeing you next week.